Welcome back to another edition of the Futbol Forever podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around Mexican football. Sheesh, man, there's been a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff to talk about in Mexican football. For example, the list has been released. El Tuca's first list for these two upcoming friendlies versus Uruguay and versus the U.S. That list is out now. You see a ton of new faces, a ton of different names, young guns receiving their first cap, their first opportunity to shine with El Tri. Diego Lainez, Roberto Alvarado, Gibran Lahoud. You see Victor Guzman, Eric Gutierrez, although Guti, he had already received an opportunity. Jonathan Gonzalez is another one that I see on the list, but he had already had one friendly with El Tri. I like that Rodolfo Pizarro is finally getting a chance. He should have been in the past World Cup and in the Russia World Cup. Unfortunately, he got snubbed, man. He definitely got snubbed. But I like all of the new names. I like the youth. Now, not everything is perfect. There are some names that you might question here and there, but it's for friendlies, man. It's for the friendlies. So we'll dive into the list and into the names a little bit more in depth in the coming minutes. But we also have to announce, and we also have to kind of talk about the Eric Gutierrez transfer to PSV. He will be joining his lifelong bestie, El Chucky Lozano, man. El Chucky Lozano, they're going to be playing in the Netherlands together. They're going to play League. They're going to play Cup. They're going to play, Champions League. That's the big one. That's the one that I'm most excited about because PSV pretty much clinched. Not pretty much. They clinched their classification to the group stage of the Champions League yesterday. El Chucky Lozano had another goal in the second leg. What did they win? 6-2, I think they beat Bate Borisov. So it's good news. Good news for Mexican football that Eric Gutierrez is joining Chucky Lozano over at PSV because both of them will have playing time. Well, let's hope that Eric Gutierrez, I know Chucky for sure, but Eric Gutierrez also gets playing time in the Champions League, a stage where the world is watching. The best players in the world are in this tournament. You get to test yourself against them and see where you fare. I mean, what more can you ask for? So good news for Mexican football. Awesome stuff for Eric Gutierrez, who has been deserving it. Unfortunately, Pachuca was being a little complicated. You can't really blame them. I understand it's a business. They don't want to just give away their players, so that's respectable as well. But I'm glad that PSV and Pachuca, taking the players' feelings and his wishes into consideration, his dreams, his goals. They were able to work something out, come to an agreement, and now they're giving him this opportunity for a new adventure with his bestie. Of course, that's gonna help. That's definitely gonna help Eric Gutierrez feel more at home, adapt to a new country, to a new culture, to a new league, to a new style of football. It'll help him have someone that speaks his language, his best friend, basically, at least in football. That's good stuff, man. So I'm in a good mood, man. I'm in a good mood. I like the list. And then the list comes out when we're all pulling the list apart and talking about what we like and what we don't like, and then we get the news that Eric Gutierrez is transferring to PSV, playing Champions League football with Chucky Lozano. I mean, that puts me in a good mood, man. So I'm not gonna complain for the rest of the week. Maybe I'll try at least. But anyways, yeah, man. Let's just dive right into the list. Let's start with the goalkeepers, man. The list for these two friendlies versus Uruguay and versus the United States under interim coach El Tuca Ferretti. Goalkeepers: Hugo Gonzalez, Gibran Lahoud, Guillermo Ochoa. Now we go on to the defenders: Jose Abella, Osvaldo Lanis, Edson Alvarez, Jesus Angulo, Gerardo Arteaga, Jesus Gallardo, Luis El Chaca Rodriguez, Carlos Salcedo. Now we go with the midfielders: Eric Aguirre, Roberto Alvarado, Jonathan Dos Santos, Jonathan Gonzalez, Eric Gutierrez, Victor Guzman, Elias Hernandez, Diego Lainez, Orbelín Pineda. Now we go on with the forwards: Irving Lozano, Raúl Jiménez, Rodolfo Pizarro, Alan Pulido, Ángel Saldívar. So that's the complete list. Like I said, a bunch of youth. I know there are some missing names. You're missing the Nestor Araujos. You're missing Guardados. You're missing Héctor Herrera, El Tecatito Corona. Other names that you could have in there. Obviously, Chicharito. But some players asked kindly, I would assume, to not get called up because they're trying to win themselves a spot in the starting 11 of their team. They're trying to solidify themselves within their specific club. So, like the case of Nestor Araujo, who has had a fantastic start of the season with Celta de Vigo under Turco Mohamed. He asked, I believe, not to get called because, he's trying to win a spot. He's trying to keep up his good form. Hector Herrera, that one I don't understand why he didn't get called up. I think he's still going to be part of this. He's young enough to be part of this new World Cup process. So I don't really understand the Hector Herrera no call. I don't know if he said no. I don't know. Tecatito Corona, I believe he's injured. He is. He's actually injured. He got injured this past weekend with Porto, unfortunately, coming off the bench. So Tecatito Corona, that he's for sure. I'm almost positive he's going to be part of the future list that you will see for El Tri, because he's very, very young. Chicha, I think he's also just trying to win a spot. But I like the list overall. So there are some missing names. There are some names like Ángel Saldívar. I didn't really understand it. Not that he's not a good player. Alan Pulido is another one that I didn't really understand. Not because, we all know what Alan Pulido and his capabilities. But I think he had been hurt for the start of the season. I don't know how much he has done this season, at least. But, whatever. He's a capable player. And so those were some of the names that I didn't understand. But there is a Chivas player that I think deserved a call-up, and I was kind of bummed out to not see him on the list, and that is Javier Eduardo Lopez, man. La Chofis. I want him to earn international caps. I want him to play for El Tri. I thought this season he's looked good. People have questioned his consistency, but I think this season he's looked very good. I would have liked to see La Chofis Lopez maybe in the place of Ángel Saldívar. I understand they're different positions, but that's a name that I think is missing off of this list. Now, I don't know the fact that Alan Pulido is called to El Tri for these two friendlies makes me question whether or not El Tuca is actually the one that made the list, because if you remember, not too long ago, some of you guys will remember, El Tuca and Alan Pulido had some issues, had some problems. When Alan Pulido stopped playing for Tigres, he just left to Europe with Olympiacos in Greece. There was some contractual issues. Alan Pulido no longer wanted to play for Tigres. Tigres said he was still under contract. Alan and his team said, no, we're not, whatever. So there was some back and forth. Tuca made some comments about him, saying he cared more about his hairstyle and stuff like that, stuff that is not important to football. And Alan Pulido answered back, and there was some back and forth. Maybe they buried it, they got over it, and Tuca actually made this full list and called up Alan Pulido. But it did make me kind of look at it like, did Tuca actually make this list, or did they just turn it in and he just gave the okay, it looks good, I guess, or he gave them the green light? I don't know if he actually made the list. So I hope he did, because he's the interim manager. That's what he's there for. So I really hope he actually made this list. But I like the list, man. I honestly like the list. Like I said, some names that could be plugged in, some names that you will see like return, like Hector Herrera and Tecatito Corona and Chicharito. I'm sure his cycle is not done. Guardado, I don't know about his cycle. I don't know if he's gonna return. He's very important to El Tri, but taking into consideration that Guardado will almost more than likely not be part of the Qatar 2022 World Cup, is then El Tuca or the manager that comes after him, are they gonna take those players into consideration, those veterans that will more than likely not be part of the next World Cup? Are they going to be given a chance with El Tri for the upcoming tournaments like the Gold Cup, et cetera, et cetera? So those are the questions that I have, and I guess we'll find out, man. But now it's time to talk about some Liga MX, baby. So let's jump right into it, man, because we had some great games this week in the Liga MX. We had two Clasicos. We had the Santos versus Cruz Azul that was that was the game. Although, you had the Clasicos, you had Atlas versus Chivas, you had America versus Pumas. The game that I was honestly looking forward to the most was the Santos versus Cruz Azul, a Santos team that is super strong at home, and we all know Cruz Azul is rolling right now. They're still undefeated. They're the best defense in the league, etc., etc. So that's the game that I was really looking forward to the most. So let's jump right into it and talk about these matches. The Atlas-Chivas on Friday night, man. Atlas, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on? Atlas with 800 plus minutes without a goal now that they lost this match to Chivas by a score of 1-0 and a golazo from Orbelín Pineda. But 800 plus minutes stemming from last season even without a goal for Atlas. That's a new record, and it's not a good one, man. It's not a good one. Oh, man. And although in this match, at least, Atlas, the first 30 minutes of the match, they really didn't look too bad. They're the ones that looked menacing. They had, I guess, the better opportunities. They played well collectively, but in Atlas fashion, they couldn't find the net, man. They had great chances to score. Not a lot, but they had some chances to score in the first 30 minutes or so, and they couldn't. They can't find the net, this team. I don't know what it is. It's cursed. I don't know who they pissed off, but they can't score, man. And Chivas would finally wake up and have a great chance to score on two occasions right before the end of the half. Great save by Hernandez, the Atlas goalkeeper, on that one shot from El Chofis Lopez from outside of the box. That was a fantastic save. And then in the second half, Hernandez would have another epic save on a great shot by Orbelín Pineda. It was early into the second half, but he could do nothing. He could do absolutely nothing to stop Orbelín's second attempt from outside of the box with that golazo, man. Golazo, you saw it featured in Los Golazos, the series where we show the best goals of the Liga MX action for that weekend. Orbelín Pineda's shot in the Clásico, that was magical, man. It was awesome. So anyways, yeah, man, Atlas, I talked about Veracruz being the worst team in the Liga MX on the last pod because of the crisis they were going through off the field, and the team isn't very good on the field, to be honest with you. Their roster isn't that strong, but Atlas may be worse than Veracruz, man. They don't play too bad. They don't play all that bad, to be honest with you, but they just can't find the net. And what's the name of the game? It's football, man. You got to score. You got to score if you want to win, obviously. So Atlas just can't do that, and obviously you can't win if you can't score. So I don't know who's worse, Veracruz or Atlas. I think Atlas will eventually obviously score eventually, but will get out of this rut. Their team isn't that bad, and like I said, they don't play that bad. They're not absolutely terrible. It's just that they can't catch a damn break, man. They're very unlucky at times. So anyways, yeah, man, 3 wins now. 3 wins in a row for Chivas. This is a huge merit. And my hat's off to Cardoso and also the players, though. The players, because this team is performing, man. They're definitely performing above everyone's thoughts. Honestly, when you heard Chivas got rid, well, one, Almeida was gone. And then, you heard Pizarro's leaving, Cota, their goalkeeper, is leaving. You had Osvaldo Alanis already expected to leave. You really said, and then the team, what they didn't do in the offseason, they didn't get stronger. The team got weaker, honestly, in roster strength. But this team is still performing, man. And they've joined the race. They've joined the race to fight for the Liguilla. So welcome to the race, Chivas. It's nice to have you. We'll see if the team could keep rolling. 3 wins in a row. Good stuff from Chivas. All right, man, let's discuss our next Clásico, and that is America versus Pumas, a 2-2 draw on Saturday night in the Azteca, man. And as expected, because America had not looked good for the past, 2 games, right? Against Querétaro, America, they got a draw. but they didn't look very good. They didn't look terrible, but they didn't look good. And against León, the team was just a disaster. Frustration being shown. Mateus Uribe gets pulled early into the second half. He shows his frustration throwing a water bottle at the bench and this and that. So the team was in disarray, and changes were expected to come. Miguel Herrera makes changes to the lineup for this Pumas match. He played with 5 out the back. Edson Alvarez, Bruno Valdez, and Emar Aguilera were the 3 center backs. He sat Mateus Uribe, who has not been himself since returning from the World Cup. He is in terrible form. I was watching the Copa MX match, America versus Dorados. It happened last night, and geez, man, Mateus Uribe got nutmegged on 2 occasions. He was missing easy crosses, easy passes. Sure, it was raining, and it probably made it more difficult for not just him, but for any player to send in a good cross or give in a good pass. But I don't know. Uribe is just not in good form at the moment, and you can't disagree with Miguel Herrera's decision to sit him down. If there's someone else that's doing it even slightly better, you have to give him some playing time. He also benched Diego Lainez, who, if we're being honest, he had been also not performing up to par for at least a 3-game stretch. To be fair, in 2 of those 3 games, no player looked good. Against Querétaro and against Club León, no player honestly stood out or looked good. Aside from, you could say, Guido Rodriguez. I think Guido Rodriguez, the center defensive mid for Club America, he's been basically the only one, if you ask me, that has been looking okay throughout this low performing stretch for the team. Pauel Aguilar, he's back from injury. He was back in the lineup. But the game starts, the ref blows the whistle, indicating the start of the match, and Pumas wasted no time, man. No time. Felipe Mora scores on a header 17 seconds into the match. It's probably like 16 and a half seconds, honestly. It was crazy fast, man. I could not believe it. But America didn't give up. That's their, it had to be a wake-up call. 17 freaking minutes into the match. 17 seconds, I'm sorry. Did I say minutes? I hope I said seconds. 17 seconds into the match, and you freaking get scored on. So you got to get your head in the game, man. So America had a decent response to the goal with a couple of opportunities to tie the match at the feet of Roger Martinez, but no, it wasn't him. Once again, the unlikely hero, baby. The forgotten one, the captain, Oribe Peralta. He's the one that steps up to the plate and scores the equalizer. Oribe, hey man, you can't complain if he keeps scoring. I was saying in the last pod that maybe you have to pull Oribe Peralta from the starting lineup because he hasn't looked good. But if he keeps scoring, then all power to him. He's gonna stay in the starting lineup. It seems like Miguel Herrera is not gonna change his mind. Oribe Peralta is key and is permanent in his lineup. So before the first half came to an end, Roger Martinez sent off due to an elbow to the chest of Arribas, the Pumas defender. Now, I went back and forth with this internally in my head. I was like, well, I guess the red card was warranted. Although the elbow hit Arribas' chest, that's besides the point. The intention to connect with the elbow was there, and it truly is a poor decision on Royer's part. Like, come on, man, don't lose your head. If the refs have been kind of special, I guess you can say, if that's the word you can use, kind of special and kind of looking just for a reason to screw you, then don't give the ref a chance, man. Don't give him a chance to throw you out. Don't even pretend to throw an elbow. Don't even insinuate or fake that you're going to throw an elbow. And he did. He threw the elbow connected to the chest of Arribas without much force, but you gave the ref a reason, and while I think as a ref, and it's a Clásico, man. It's a Clásico. Tempers are flaring. I don't know, man. Don't ruin the match. But I don't know. I go back and forth with it even right now as I'm speaking with it. I'm like, don't ruin the match by giving a team a red card. Give him a yellow. He'll understand. He can't do it again. But then again, it's like, well, the ref, it doesn't matter if it's a Clásico. I don't know if they have to take that into consideration. I guess a red card, you can't blame the ref for that now. Speaking of red cards, Bruno Valdés, America would get another red card. Oh my goodness. Bruno Valdés had a terrible match, man. He got a red card. He gave up the ball on multiple occasions. He gave horrible passes that almost cost America a goal. And it's not just Bruno Valdés. Aguilera has also been in low form. Edson Alvarez, who in my opinion has been the best center back this season for Club America, and that's not saying much. He hasn't been great. He was poorly positioned. I don't want to completely blame him, but he was in poor position in the first goal for Pumas in the 17th second. So none of the America center backs have been great, but I think Edson has been the best one or the most decent one. It's just that Bruno Valdés and Emmanuel Aguilera are just in very poor form. But 72 minutes into the match, another great cross from Martin Rodriguez, the Pumas midfielder, would find the head of another Pumas attacker, and with 9 men, America just seemed to be done. It really seemed to be it. That really seemed to be the end of Club America, but America pulls in America and saves the draw late into the match. I think it was 91st, 92nd minute of injury time. Saves the draw with a perfect header from Henry Martin, who got up there, man. He got up there. He showed off that vertical. He showed off those springs he has. And he gets a perfect goal, or a very nice-looking header to salvage the draw for Club America, which, I guess the team has a reason to celebrate it. If you're down to 9 men for a good chunk of the match, you're probably expected to lose. 9 men in professional football, that's almost a death sentence, at least against a good opponent, a decent opponent, which Pumas is. They're a good team. They're a good opponent. They should have won the match. But it's not good, man. It's not looking good for America. Only 2 points earned in this 3-game stretch. Only 2 points of 9 possible. That's not good. And the pressure has to be on Miguel Herrera because the team is underperforming. But the good thing is that there's still plenty of time to fix things. There's still plenty of time for players to find their form. And America could do it like their friends up north do it. The Tigres way, man. Tigres stays in the race. They win, games, and they lose games, and they stay, I don't want to say mediocre, but they stay in, I guess, in the mid-table for the majority of the season, and then they really pick it up towards the end of the season. They qualify to the playoffs, and they hit the Liguilla, the playoffs, in their best form. That's how Tigres does it. That's the Tigres way. And maybe America could do it like that, but they still have time to figure it out. I think they'll be okay. So I'm kind of disappointed, man, because I really wanted to talk about, more matches like the Monterrey versus Monarcas. I had written down notes for that. I had written down a ton of notes for the Santos versus Cruz Azul match. But unfortunately, I am short of time. I got to go to work. A man's got to work, man. And I won't get the chance to really discuss these 2 matches in depth. I am sorry. Maybe you don't really even care. But Monterrey versus Monarcas, that one ended with a 2-2 draw. And the Santos versus Cruz Azul match, which was the match that I was really, really looking forward to the most, aside from the 2 Clasicos. This match, actually, I probably placed more importance on this match because Cruz Azul was supposed to get tested in this match, and boy, did they get tested. Good stuff from Santos, season after season, tournament after tournament, they lose important players. They sell important players to different clubs, and they always find a way to replace them. They lost their coach earlier in the season due to some interesting stuff that happened outside of the football pitch. conflicts with another player. They lost their coach. It doesn't matter, man. Santos continues to play at a high level. The champs are for real, and they're looking good. They really tested the Cruz Azul defense, and they hurt them at times, although it wasn't enough because Cruz Azul is extremely efficient on offense. That counterattack was a thing of beauty, man. So anyways, yeah, man, I wish I could have talked about both the Monterrey Monarcas and the Santos versus Cruz Azul matches in more detail, but I'm short of time. So let's go over all of the results, the remaining results for the Liga MX Week 7. Pachuca defeating Puebla 2-0 at home. Tiburones Rojos actually surprising. Yes, Veracruz surprising Xolos and beating them 1-0. That's not good stuff. That's not good for Xolos, man. Necaxa and Tigres tying 1-1. What a golazo for Victor Davila, the young Chilean. Querétaro actually defeating Lobos Buap 2-0 at home, and Toluca losing at home to a León who looks to be waking up. They defeated America 2-0, playing much better, erasing them from the pitch, and now they go into Toluca, into La Bombonera, and defeat them with a score of 2-1. Good stuff from León right there. So anyway, boys, I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for the support in the videos on the channel, whether it's the Diego Lainez career mode series or the other videos that I'm making, like the one with that I talked about Tuca Ferretti staying permanently with El Tri and my 2 cents on that. Thank you for your support on that. With your help, the channel will keep growing, the community will keep growing, and I truly, truly appreciate that. Anyways, once again, thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Futbol forever out.